The Deion Sanders decline at Colorado was always expected. I was an early admirer of Deion Sanders' success on and off the field in his coaching career, but I have consistently been loud in my criticism of his style of coaching. From the start, I've maintained that his over-reliance on the transfer portal in the FBS, without sufficient high-level game planning on offense and defense, would not translate the way it did during his time in the SWAC at Jackson State. Now, 3 years into his tenure at Colorado, we see that it is demonstrably true, and even his biggest supporters can't dispute this. Anybody who witnessed the dominance of Deion Sanders at JSU and truly analyzed it through a critical lens, outside of his celebrity and the pageantry, could see where Colorado was heading once Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter departed. Deion relies on overwhelming, high-level talent to overcome what are often poor decisions on his front, mistakes like being too conservative in his decision-making, keeping timeouts in his pocket, and inconsistent game preparation. These are shortcomings we saw from his staff at Jackson State, and they have been consistently visible at Colorado. The Utah game isn't even the biggest example of this reality. Yes, Colorado had perhaps the worst first half of any Power 4 team this season, going down 43-0, but the bigger showcase of this coaching deficiency came against Georgia Tech. Consider the context. Georgia Tech is currently rolling, sitting at number 8 in the AP Top 25 with an 8-0 record. Colorado, a team that has struggled to execute all season, was actually in a position to win that game. They had the ball in their hands as the clock wound down in the fourth quarter. But poor clock management ultimately precluded Colorado from beating a genuinely good Team A victory that could have dramatically changed their season. In the aftermath of the Georgia Tech game, and even into the Delaware game, you saw the scramble, the constant, often desperate, changes they tried to implement to stabilize themselves. It doesn't shock me that when you lose generational talents, Travis Hunter, who adeptly played wide receiver and defensive back making game-changing plays on both sides, and Shedeur Sanders, who was literally a coach on the field with a knack for making the right decision even without sufficient offensive line protection, there would be a drop-off. You also lose a speedy, adept receiver like Jimmy Horn, who was so essential to Shedeur's connection with the offense. But the drop-off shouldn't be this drastic, especially for a program builder.